Welcome to Maroon Sports Talk, your go-to podcast for all sports at EKU. Join us each week as we dive into the latest games and explore the world of sports. Whether you bleed maroon or just love college sports, this podcast is your ticket to staying informed. I'm Kaitlyn Andrews.
I'm Nick Speer. My major is broadcasting and journalism. Joey, take it away.
I'm Joey Aguirre, and I'm a Homeland Security major.
I'm also a broadcasting major.
Perfect. So first sports we want to talk about will be men's basketball. They have a huge week coming up. We got the number one seed. They're 17-13 and 12-4 in conference play. And with a loss also by Stetson, that means they secured the number one seed. Kennesaw State and Jacksonville play tonight. And then the winner of that game will play EKU tomorrow night. So let's start off with two losses in a row. Kaitlyn, what are your thoughts on that?
You know, I think it's a hard time of year. I think, you've been playing for so long. You're getting tired. It's the end of the season.
Yeah.
But, they've been able to maintain that number one seed. And going into this, conference championship tournament, it kind of just shows, who is the best of the best. It's make or break at this point. And are you going to be able to, pull out a win and make it through?
Yeah, and for the more than 5 years from now, EKU has not made March Madness, and with being able to secure that number one seed, being 11-3, I'm pretty sure at home, and then maybe 4-10 on the road, having that one seed was crucial. And kind of the recent struggles here lately, especially second half drop-offs, it seems to be that just looking at the stats here, just a certain player will have kind of maybe a rough night, and then one will kind of carry them and keep them into the game, and then that bench kind of just hasn't really been producing that kind of numbers. What kind of your thoughts on that?
I think just kind of, like you said, not having just one player carry in a game. You have to work together and get through it together, and I think if everyone's on their game, that's when they'll be the most successful. So I just think, a lot of it is just being ready to go and being on, making sure it's a good day for you, and also just, being ready to play and being ready to listen to your coach and ready to go.
Absolutely. And I kind of think a problem here is kind of looking at this 4-14 from the three-point line. EKU does love that three ball. And for me, and them playing at such a high pace, pressing 40 minutes, the most exciting 40 minutes in sports, being able to keep that intensity will be crucial going into this tournament. We did beat Kennesaw State on the road, and so I really do think that having that one seed was crucial. Attendance-wise, too, with Alumni Coliseum's acoustics here, having that wooden roof. Joey, how crucial do you think it is being able to have that home crowd loud and about tomorrow night?
Well, one of the big things that I've realized from years of sports is home field advantage. I mean, if the more people you have there supporting you, yes, it may be more nerve-wracking, but you also know you have that support with you, and that there are people there cheering you on, making you want to win, and encouraging you to keep fighting for your spot in the bracket.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to touch on men's basketball, Kaitlyn?
No, but kind of segueing into women's basketball with that attendance. Our women's team has had a lot of success this season and really trying to make sure that people show out for these games coming up and, paying attention to what they're doing and how they're doing. It's been, hot and cold with their attendance, I feel like. So really tuning in and watching is super, super important with women's as well.
And I really think, they should do kind of they do play their first game is on the road. I'm pretty sure against Lipscomb. And I really do think having that, they do end up coming back here, being able to show up for the women's team. They also took a heartbreaking loss to Lipscomb at home. And Alicia did foul out for her first game. I really do think that being able to win on the road for the women's team and just trying to make a deep run, FGCU is just the powerhouse of the ASUN Conference for the women's team. So they need to keep it up on the road, and being able to maybe support them from home will be super important and crucial going forward. And kind of going back to the men's team as well, being able to go to March Madness would be super huge.
That'd be crazy.
For them.
That'd be so cool. Oh my God.
I really think they do have a really good shot here because it is at home, that 11-3 record at home, and just maybe bouncing back. I mean, Michael Moreno with 4 points. I mean, he is just such a three ball deep kind of guy. He really needs to get it going here for these next few games. And I really do think he can do that. I mean, he is just one of the crucialest players for EKU. And Leland Walker has been just absolutely a monster.
He's been crazy. Blaine's
been picking it back up. Cozart is just an absolute star. That bench, I do think, needs to maybe produce a little bit more, but I believe in Coach A.W. Hamilton being able to really drive up and keep that attendance, like Joey said, going forward.
Yeah, and I think especially, like I kind of said before, like these players have been playing like whole games the entire season, like Kozar, Walker, Moreno. Like it's going to be hard to produce at times. Like they're tired. Like they've been through a lot this season. So I definitely think having that bench really produce on the field as well, or on the court as well, sorry. Used to soccer talk, sorry. On the court as well, just is super important.
Yeah, and as a soccer player, what is it like kind of being able to get that home crowd? Like what was it like experience for soccer, and do you think that should translate into basketball coming at this tournament?
Yeah, I think over the course of just my whole entire soccer career, not just like college, I think, there's been a variety of attendance, up and down. But I think, when you have that support from a crowd, like it's a totally different feeling. And I think just knowing that this many people care about you and your sport and how you're doing, like it's a big deal. So I think that will be like the extra fuel that this team needs going into this tournament.
After that 2-game losing streak, I think they definitely do need it. I interviewed Michael Moreno a few weeks ago, and he said, like, being able to, like, having 1,000 to 2,000 people in AC, it makes it seem like 8 to 10,000. Like, it's just such a loud place. I really do think they really do have a shot at March Madness, and I do believe he can rebound these past 2 games, and I really do think AW can guide him into March Madness, hopefully get that 3 wins in a row.
Yeah.
So moving on to
going back to women's basketball.
Women's basketball, yeah. So just kind of a heartbreaking end of the season, losing to Austin Peay and then losing to Lipscomb. Like
both at home too.
Yeah. It's just really tough for them right now, and I really do think they can get it together. But I mean, they got to get past FGCU and being able to rebound coming into the tournament. What do you think they should do going forward on the road?
I think on the road games are always a little more difficult than playing at home. I think it's hard. You kind of, you're traveling, you're tired. There's a lot of different factors and a lot of opportunities for excuses, I think, as well. So just kind of being able to break through those mental barriers that come with being on the road and playing against a team that you just lost to, like at your home court, like that's going to take a lot of, a tough mentality. So I think it'll be interesting to see, number 4, number 5, how they face off together and kind of get a second chance to beat this team and go far.
Maybe that'll be a little like fuel to the fire for Coach Greg Todd, Coach Brown, Alice, Ivy Turner. She had, I think, 4 points last game. So really kind of being able to get that revenge game and going into whoever they do end up playing next. And that'll be something we'll be able to touch on next podcast. So, Joey, any ways you think that kind of marketing standpoint, how would you as the marketing team be able to market for these home games for the men's team?
I would say one thing that needs to be done is making sure that students are aware of it. So reaching out social media, and because a lot more students use social media than actually like looking at the posters in the dorms or anything. In all honesty,
definitely.
Just look at everyone's screen time.
Okay. Don't look at my screen time. Don't look at my screen time.
That'd be terrible.
But everyone uses Instagram. Just post on Instagram more often and ensure that students are actually sharing it with their friends and saying, hey, come out to this, I'll be there. And then if there's themes for the games too, I think that is something that can make them more, not enjoyable, but like bring the crowd together as a whole too. Yeah.
Absolutely. That community feeling here is super important to EKU, and especially we're kind of a mid-major school. Like, I was speaking to some family members the other day, and they're like, I didn't know EKU was Division I. Like, just
conversation with someone, too. I literally did, yeah.
Being able to market for these, like, bigger games, and, like, there is a lot at stake, and where we do have the number 1 seed, because last year we didn't have the number 1 seed, being able to just hit that home and pack out AC, and right before the renovation starts, too, that'd be huge. And then who knows what could happen in March? I mean, anything can happen in March. So
hopefully good things.
Hopefully good things. Hopefully good things. 7 p.m. tomorrow night in AC. Pack the place out. Kind of moving on to softball and baseball. Kind of I don't know how to put it. Just one team doing just absolutely well, record-breaking, best they've ever had in history with that 9-0 start, now being 14-4. And on the other side of the baseball, it was kind of they're a very young team. I know you pointed out the other day.
Yeah.
So we can kind of touch on baseball first. What do you think's going on, the struggle so far this year?
I mean, I think there's a lot of changing of players in college baseball. Like, you have JUCO and you have a lot of opportunities, to change schools. I feel like there's more transferring within baseball that I've heard than like
NIL,
any other sport,
yeah.
and I don't know why. But I think there's a lot of new players this year, a lot of young players this year from what I can see and what I can tell. I just think that also they're in a learning curve right now, and it's hard because you want to come out and see teams win immediately, but I think that they're trying to kind of get a foundation set and get a good feeling going. So although they are currently 2-9, I think, you know, with the changing of all those pitchers in the last game that we just saw, like they're trying to find someone that's going to stick, and they're trying to find formations that are going to stick.
Absolutely. There's kind of that just brutal first 4 road games against SEC teams. I mean, Vanderbilt just recently won the SEC, and they're kind of the powerhouse of the SEC, and 3-game road stretch against Auburn, who's now 15 in the country. It's just a really iron on iron, and hopefully that does translate into conference play. But so, like, losing that series against just Oakland, and then losing to Louisville, and then losing 2 out of 3 to kind of Western Illinois, and now UK, who also is the SEC. I think they're 9-1, just recently checked. They just beat Lipscomb, who is in the A-Sun. So that turnover of players at the game yesterday was very interesting to see. Like, I've never personally seen so many pitcher changes.
Yeah.
And that could, I'm not in the locker room, I don't know, just kind of speculation, like maybe trying to find someone that does stick. There was 2 people that got hit by pitches for Western Illinois, and then we kind of made that comeback, and then we kind of just fell flat in the last 2 innings. So really do think coming forward with another tough road stretch against Kentucky, and then they come here Wednesday. That'll be 2 important games in state battle. Like, they
Definitely.
need to, hopefully they can figure out and going into conference play here pretty soon. So
yeah, and I think at the end of the day, what's most important to teams as well, like obviously you want a good overall record, but conference is the end all be all of these sports, and you want to do well in conference. So anything that happens during this time is, you know, in preparation for conference. So hopefully we'll kind of see an incline in wins and like how they're doing and finding more people that stick. So
I mean, absolutely. And just kind of bouncing back on conference play, I mean, we saw the men's team, they started out 4-9. Like, they also had a rough beginning and kind of mumblings around like, hey, what's going on here with EKU Basketball? We were supposed to like dominate, and then but people just kept saying conference play, and now they're 12-4 in the conference. And they also had tough road stretches against Purdue and Alabama, and it was kind of heartbreaking and weird to see when they did play Alabama. I watched that game, and the announcer was like, kind of a get-right game for Alabama. Like, it's just these mid-major schools, like, you never know what could happen in March. I'm just saying, like, even with baseball too, like, they're like, oh, get-right game for Auburn or Vanderbilt. Like, you never know what can happen. A turnaround can happen at any single point. Yeah. A pitcher can get hot. A hitter can get hot. So
yeah, you just never know. You never know.
And kind of moving on to softball, kind of the flip side of things, where they are 14-4.
They're going crazy.
They're on a 5-game winning streak. Like, it's just unreal. Like, so far the start for the women's. And as a woman in sport, Kaitlyn, how did that feel for like these ladies, like being able to just dominate?
It was such a good feeling. I know a few players on the softball team, so I was like, you know, you're always cheering them on all the time. It was just awesome. So being able to start with 9 wins in your season, like, that's just got to feel good regardless. I think now they're 14-4, so that's still obviously very good. They came off a stretch of home games this past weekend and are going to go into some more home games. They're playing number 19, Virginia Tech. That's going to be a super interesting game as well, so that'll be exciting, and definitely want a lot of people to show out for them as well coming into this week. There's a lot going on this week, so but yeah, definitely if you can, make a stop out there to go watch them play. They're having a really successful start to the season.
Exactly, and just everyone really focuses on like men's sports, and kind of now where softball is just taking out, like, they need to take the spotlight for EKU, get that marketing out there. Greek Week's coming up here in the next month, and they'll be able to go to that softball game.
Awesome.
And they really do need to like pack the place out, and they can really showcase what it is like being able to play for EKU. And that no-hitter too, that's something that happened, correct?
Yes, yeah. I can't remember her name. Oh my goodness gracious, but a freshman.
Yeah.
A freshman with a perfect game. That was crazy.
Yeah.
And I wrote an article, got to interview Maggie Purty and Vianna Barron. And they were just talking about how this season feels completely different from past seasons, and how they can just feel the difference in how their team is meshing together, and how successful their freshmen have been, and how they just don't even feel like freshmen. They just feel like they've been here this whole time and we came in like ready to go. So
Absolutely.
you know, that's always exciting when you know that, like, the younger people on your team, like, are ready to go and ready to perform. So that was awesome to see.
I feel like that's just EKU sports in general as a whole. Like, recently, just so many people and teams have taken off. Like, it's just a great time to be an EKU sports fan, and hopefully they can start packing out the place.
Yeah.
For softball. So what we got coming up next here?
For softball, on March 6th, they'll play number 19 ranked Virginia Tech at home at 4. So that will be a really good game. And then from March 9th to the 10th, they're going to play a stretch of games against Central Connecticut. Those will also be at home as well. And then I think they go on the road for a little bit after that. So
yeah, I'm seeing here they got WKU, Central Arkansas, so a very important stretch, and then talking about conference play, late March they'll be getting into conference play, and then hopefully for the men's team too, they can turn around and kind of make a run in A-Sun play, and then hopefully have a shot maybe at regionals. We'll see. I mean, no one thought the basketball team could do it at 4-9, and now here's their shot in conference play to turn that season around. So we got tennis coming up next. We kind of touch on that.
Well, men's tennis has been going crazy recently. I was looking at their schedule and their results and stuff. They had a winning streak of 12 games, which just recently broken by Louisville yesterday. So unfortunate for that, but 12-game winning streak is crazy. And then this came out a while ago. I don't know where it all stands now, but they were ranked 74th in the nation, so the entire nation.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And we got word the other day that they want to start live streaming the tennis
games.
Yes,
we did, yes. Which, doesn't happen, apparently.
No,
no one streams tennis.
Yeah, and it's weird, where we work videography, our boss, Dylan, he said that hardly any other schools stream tennis. I think it's a great time to be able to stream tennis just because no one really has heard about it. They know where the tennis courts are, but I genuinely do think that here with tennis, it's just a great time for them and a great camaraderie, and being able to recently come back too. They just came back a few years ago.
Yeah, this is a relatively new program too.
So I really think good for EKU and good for tennis. That's just unreal. I'm awful at tennis. I tried playing recently and I was just downright awful. So
mad respect for everyone good at tennis.
Good at tennis. That is craziness. So good for them.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get those live streams up and running and be able to showcase them to the United States and honestly to the world who ever watched ESPN Plus. So that'd be great.
Yeah.
And for tennis, and it's just awesome.
Do you know anything about tennis?
No.
Okay.
Never played it. Don't watch it.
I'm intrigued now.
I mean, as a Homeland Security major, kind of a student that really. What do you?
Have you heard about these things happening with tennis? Did you know they were having so much success, just as a student?
And Instagram.
No idea.
No idea.
They really get the marketing out there. I don't know.
I know.
Marketing is everything
crazy.
in sports. You just gotta get that name out there. You got these Instagram posts,
Yeah, that's where I saw 74th in the nation was on Instagram.
So, get that out there. That's just unreal. And for Eastern Kentucky, good for them. Shout out anyone that plays tennis. It's just unreal.
It's unreal, yeah. And then they have a stretch of home games coming up, so if you don't want to watch it on ESPN, you can come watch it in person.
Everything's better in person.
They're playing Southern Indiana, Austin Peay, Bellarmine, Queens, and North Alabama all at home. So it's a pretty big stretch of home games, and their first conference game is on the 15th against Austin Peay.
I'm not really sure how tennis is structured, but if they win, could they make, is there a regional tournament? Hopefully there is, and be able to showcase them on a national stage. So moving into beach volleyball here, what do you got?
Yeah. Beach volleyball. Okay, first off, I heard it's just called beach.
Really?
Yes, which
Just
I thought
beach.
was so funny because the Barbie movie. Did you see the Barbie movie?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Ken's job is just beach.
Okay.
So now all their jobs are just beach. Anyways, going into that.
Yeah.
Don't look bad. I just thought that was interesting.
That
They're
is
taking the
super
volleyball
interesting.
out of it.
Everyone just says beach volleyball. Isn't it on the thing?
I don't know. I talked to Isaac.
Really?
Yeah, and he was like, they're just calling it beach now. And I was like,
Okay,
your sport is just beach.
How's your season going?
So unfortunately, they are coming off 2 losses, but one was against number 15 ranked FAU, Florida Atlantic, and also UAB, and it was in their UAB Beach Classic. So they have a 5-3 record. They won their first 4 games, including against their rival, self-proclaimed rival, Austin Peay, just because they're so close.
Yeah,
here.
They're
they're rivals.
They're in Tennessee, right away.
Yeah, so coming off of that, but I had the opportunity to talk to a few of the players, and they're just really excited for the season. They feel kind of similar to softball, feel like they have a successful season. in store, so that's really cool. I'm
great.
excited. They do have a home tournament, not till April though, but it's Saturday, April 6th against Liberty in McKendree. And that will also be their senior night. So they said they travel for the rest of their games. That's their only home tournament.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they travel every weekend. And so that will be their senior night, and they definitely wanted people to come to that.
They definitely need people out there to watch beach. So
To watch beach,
yes. You got to get that name right. You can't be.
I know. I'm going to call it beach now. But anyways, yeah, I didn't even really, like, when I went to go interview, I was like, I didn't even know where these courts were, like, to be honest. But they were so nice, and it would be so cool to see people come out.
The courts are really nice.
They're really nice,
They have, like, IM tournaments there at the beach courts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's great. I love volleyball, but I break the rules all the time anytime I play an IM game. So, kind of touching on next, track and field or.
Yeah, we can talk about track and field. We can just, they just wrapped up their indoor season. We'll just touch upon that really quickly. They were so successful in indoor nationals, or indoor ASUN championship. They won 9 medals, which is kind of insane.
I mean, they're individual medals, I assume. So, I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, so the men finished second and the women finished 7th. Okay. So, really successful, especially in distance. There was a lot of distance runners. I think we had someone get 2 gold medals at the meet, and then someone broke the ASUN championship record in the mile. So, and then someone broke the school record in the 400 meters. So we just had a lot of records broken, a lot of medals won. So
that's awesome.
To me, that sounds great. To me, that sounds like a very successful
That's successful. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's success. That's all we need.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of moving into another section of sports, esports. Joey, that is your thing.
Yes.
That is you. So talk about esports.
So for those of you who don't know what esports is essentially competitive gaming. And it is something that I partake in, and I know a handful of other people on these teams. We have a total of 6 different teams, and 2 of them have A and B teams. So first off, with the Fortnite team, they are 0-3. I don't know how that is, like solos or like
doubles,
duos, trios,
anything like that.
Quads. I'm assuming it might be like one of the double, like duos, trios, or quads, but not entirely sure. Then fighting games, I think that's just general. It's 3-2 for their record. Then next is the Rainbow Six Siege team, and they are currently 5-1.
Wow.
And are in second place for their bracket.
Oh wow! Who's else in their bracket? Is it different schools, or how does that?
It's other schools like throughout, I think, the Eastern Coast.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
It's all of these are within the Eastern Coast. I think they're all in the same division and all that conference.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Next up is Rocket League. The Maroon team, which is the A team, is 0-5, and the B team, which is the white team, is 3-2. Then we have a Street Fighter 6 team who's 4-1, and then our Valorant is both 0-5 for Maroon and white.
Oh wow! How is all this like structured, funded? Like, please dive into this. Like, this is really interesting.
Yeah.
So going to the funding, I actually got to speak to one of the R6 players. His gamer tag is ARC, and he said they won a LAN tournament at the beginning of the semester at UK. They got to play on stage.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
That sounds so cool.
I think he said they played 2 to 3 games on stage, and then they got second place to the best team in state.
Oh wow!
Oh my gosh!
And that they paid for it all out of pocket.
All out of pocket? Are you
they
serious?
Had to
That's
pay
terrible.
For it themselves.
Oh, man.
Their own money.
And
their own money, like a lot of money.
So
like
is
money's just money. Like,
is it from like previous competitions where you get this money, or is it just your money?
They pulled it out of their pockets to pay.
The passion people have for esports is just unreal. Like it's craziness.
Wow.
Like some people just treat it as like, oh, I got an Xbox and a PS5, like I play some Fortnite. But I mean, like if you really are passionate about it, like the school needs to find funding for this. Like that's just ridiculous.
Well, so the R6 team, they're actually recognized as one of the better teams, at least in the state. And because they did end up losing to the best team and they did get second place, they were actually invited to a tournament in Toronto. However, they could not go because
Funding.
What?
They
Oh my gosh.
they had to decline it because they don't have the funding for it.
Listen, in my opinion, I genuinely think that, like, if you are one of the best teams in the state, your school needs to be funded. Now, they aren't funded, like, by the NCAA. Is that correct? Like,
I don't believe so.
So, I mean, that's another problem.
That makes it
that
hard,
that can be
yeah.
a whole episode. But
Yeah.
schools or something, they need to come together and find funding, or, like, just some type of way, like a crowd change fund, like what sororities and fraternities do. Like, they genuinely just need to find funding for this kind of stuff, because if they're getting invited to, like, stuff out of the country, like, that's
crazy.
that's a win-win for the school and
Yeah.
for the team.
It
Like,
makes
the
them
school
look
can be
good.
like, hey, we're sending people to another country. Like,
Yeah.
you know? So, I mean, that's just
Well,
ridiculous.
one of the other things about esports is the League of Legends Worlds was, I don't remember which year, but it had more viewers than the Super Bowl.
What?
And
What?
no, because
Dude, what? That's crazy.
it attracts everyone from around the world. And
Kind of like the, like, different, like, European soccer kind of is. Like, it's not just one country.
Not just, yeah.
It's
It-
everywhere.
It's everyone, and esports brings people together. It may not seem like it, but there are a bunch of people who actually bond over esports, and
I mean,
it's
yeah.
how they make friends.
Well, it's
so
just it's
crazy,
easy
yeah.
too, because, like, you can just bring the equipment there. It's not that easy, but, like, you just bring the equipment there. You just log in and just go. Like, it's just, I mean, it is a sport in itself, because it does take strategy. Like,
Yeah.
pardon me, I'm awful at, like, Rainbow Six Siege. Like, I'm just terrible.
Pardon me too. I'm also bad. I've
Like,
never
I
played.
mean, like,
So-
I think I have, like, one win in Fortnite in the past, I think, month. Like, I mean, it's just crazy. It takes strategy. It takes teamwork. It
These
takes
games-
practice.
It is hard.
These
Yeah.
games take a lot of time and practice, and people don't respect that. I
You
think.
can't just turn down the difficulty in a match.
no,
you
you
know?
can't.
Easy.
I'll be honest. Last semester and the semesters prior, when I was on the league team, I was going up against people who were ranks higher than me,
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh my
because
gosh.
I'm one of the lower ranks, I'll be honest. I'm bad at the game. I haven't gotten any better, but like, I was going up against people who were in some of the higher ranks, and I was losing.
Mhm.
Like, I felt like I was the reason we were losing, and you do feel the same emotion for sports that I've had those same feelings for real sports like football, wrestling, lacrosse, in my esports competitions.
Yeah.
I've had that same emotion just drag me down, and it hurts the team.
I mean, trust me, you can get passionate at any sport, esports, like anything really. And kind of, where do you guys play? Like, is it in the lounge, I assume?
So with the lounge, the issue is that usually, at least for us, the games are later at night, and the lounge closes at 10, I believe, and most games are after, or can take longer than an hour to.
Wait, so what time do they start normally?
So our games are starting at around 8, I believe.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And depending on how long the matches were and what teams did after the matches, like VOD reviews and stuff,
Okay.
then it could take up to maybe 2 hours, 2.5
wow.
hours.
It's like a actual, like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Like an actual sport.
Yes.
And it was just, so we can't go to the lounge for that reason. We can't go to the lounge because there's other people there. Like, we don't, where it's so small and compact, if we were there, there's only 4 chairs, 2 per section for computers. And Rainbow Six Siege and League of Legends and Valorant, they all have 5-player teams. So you would need one person to sit across from you, and that just isn't right. Like, if you're on the same team, you should be able to all line up next to each other and compete
yeah.
alongside your
Yeah.
other members. But there's also the noise too. Like, these games do require the teamwork and communication that you guys mentioned. And without that, like, with other people in the room, it could get very distracting.
Oh, man. This is great. Figured out EKU. Anyways,
I'm learning so much right now. This is so cool.
Get these people some funding or something, or crowd change, like tabling event, like something, because that's just ridiculous.
So yeah, how do you guys fundraise? Do you fundraise at all for your events that you go to?
So
because I've seen you wear a jersey before. Like,
you have a jersey?
Yeah, we have jerseys. I forgot.
Next episode,
I'll be honest. I also don't have one for this semester because league team doesn't exist right now. But so we pay money for like dues for esports, but also there's money for the jerseys too that we all pay out of pocket. Like
it's just grinding my gears.
So none of
speak, man. Like not like it's like not you, but like just
no, I know
the stuff you guys have
this
to do.
This face over here is so
like
funny.
I mean, like it's like sororities and fraternities pay dues. Like I mean, in your sports team, like you shouldn't be like
you're basically a frat.
Yeah. I guess you. Yeah. So.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, anything else you want to add before we kind of start to wrap up?
So one thing I do know is that the Valorant team does have some female players.
Oh, that's awesome.
So the thing about esports is there is no like gender-based division.
That's cool. Yeah.
For lack of a better
really
term,
yeah.
is they can all play on the same team.
That's so awesome.
Men and women.
Oh my gosh. Maybe I'll join.
Grab your controller, Kaitlyn.
I gotta start practicing now.
We'll walk over to esports times when this is all finished up.
I'll practice.
But kind of wrapping up like the week ahead. I mean, do you guys have any matches this week? Because we're about to lead into like our upcoming week segment.
So I believe they do have matches. I don't have the exact days or times for them, but they do get. Most of them should get streamed to the EKU Twitch.
Oh, cool.
Which I believe is EKU_esports.
Okay.
Go watch, everybody.
But
get on there.
I believe there's games almost every night. Like
wow. Huh.
Wow.
There's because the different games have different nights for when they
Gotcha.
compete, so they don't overlap and overwork the actual like not refs but people who need to work behind the scenes for it.
Mm-hmm. That's so interesting.
Awesome. And then kind of leading to other sports this week, tonight, it'll be Jacksonville and Kennesaw State, since EKU is hosting the last two seeds for the ASUN tournament. So we'll find out by the time this is uploaded tomorrow who will be playing. And then EKU plays at 7 for the quarterfinal, and a bunch of other ASUN games. Baseball's Wednesday at 6. UK will be here for their second round against EKU, and UK is just on a tear right now. Last time I checked, they were 9-1. I don't know if that's changed. The 6th, March 6th, Wednesday at 6:30. It is $2 day, so everybody go and shout out to that. For softball, they're March 6th as well, 4 p.m. Virginia Tech, who it is just updated. They're the number 15th.
Oh, number 15.
Yeah, it is Hot Chocolate and Mugs Day. Nice. At 4 p.m. So, I mean, a lot of just sports. And then if EKU wins Tuesday and Thursday, whoever they end up playing, they will host a championship game here for a bit into March Madness. And I'm sure that place will just be absolutely rocking if that happens. So, huge week for EKU sports in general and esports. So, I mean, go watch Twitch if you're able to. Lots to watch, busy time, March Madness. So, for everybody. But that is it. And then kind of what do we got next episode of Spring Break?
Next episode after spring break, we'll kind of dive more into soccer and their off season and how they're doing. And then we'll also talk a little bit about football as well.
You got the spring game coming up, and kind of heard rumor has a new offense, so a new quarterback. So
lots of change
coming to EKU football. Needing a big rebound season. So, that will be wrapping up, and we'll be back after spring break. So,
thank
you everybody for watching. First
Thank
episode.
you guys.
Woohoo.